Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.
All right, welcome to the Prime Time College Hoops podcast. This is our first episode. This is from the Prime Coverage Sports Network. My name is Jim Weglars, aka Wegs. You can follow the network at PCSN Media on X. Follow me at Wegspool on X and on Instagram. You also can catch me on the Side Action podcast, my own podcast, on Thursday nights, and the Lockdown podcast on Tuesday nights with the network about NFL. Let's kick it to Kenny. Give me an intro. Who are you?
Yeah, man, this is Kenny Casanova. Man, I am a part of the Renegade Rundown. It is a Steeler Hub podcast, man. And I shoot on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'm just happy to be here. I'm kick it over to my main man, Michael.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Concepcio, better known as The Con Man. I have my own show called Sports Corner with The Con Man on the Sports Wave Network. And you can find me on the Sports Wave Network. And we also do a NBA show on Friday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And I look forward to join the crew here and have some fun. And let's talk some college hoops.
Let's talk some college hoops for the PCSN network. So, hey, guys, we're kind of mid-season already. We got to catch up a little bit and find out what's been going on. I mean, myself, I focus on the NFL quite a bit. Now I flip over to college like a lot of people. And the biggest thing I'm hearing as I'm catching up on my research, it's like the greatest freshman class like in the history of college basketball. So, man, tell us a little bit about some of these guys. Who do you like? Who have you been watching, and who's catching your eye?
Like yourself, I've been primarily concerned with the NBA and NFL football. I usually transfer my attention to college basketball after the Super Bowl. But I have, tuned into quite a few games, and I'm going to tell you, the freshman class is unbelievable. I mean, I've been around. I've been following college basketball since 1970. So I've been around. I know I've been around. So I've watched a lot of talent, and this year's class is incredible. I mean, you talk about Cameron Boozer with Duke. He's having a phenomenal year. He's got his brother playing with him. Duke's, I think, number 2 or number 3, number 4 in the country. I think they have a very good team, and of course, he's going to be a big part of it. He might be one of the 2-3 picks in the NBA draft. Then you got my man AJ DeBanza. He's from out my way. He played ball here in Brockton, Mass, which is about 20 minutes from me. So I'm very familiar with him. The brother is nasty. I'll talk about him later on when we talk about him and Darren Peterson. But I really enjoy watching him play. And, of course, you got Khalid Wilson. He's probably the most talked about player coming out this year besides A.J. DeBanza. He is at University of North Carolina. He has nice size. He seems to have a very high IQ, sees the floor very well, can put the ball on the floor, and he hits the mid-range jumper. Very impressed with him. And there's 2 other ones, and then I'll kick it to you guys. Darren Peterson from Kansas. I watched him play, and the dude is off the chain. He reminds me a little bit of Donovan Mitchell. He's about 6'3", 6'4", can get to anywhere he wants to go to. He's unselfish, can hit the perimeter shot, can distribute, penetrate. I think he does it all. He almost reminds me of another player that played at Kansas, a guy by the name of Jacques Vaughn, but a better shooter and more size. And then the last one, which a lot of people ain't talking about, is Darius Acuff from Arkansas. He's projected to be the top guy chosen in this year's NBA draft. I watched him a few times. I'm looking forward to watching him even more now. But those seem to be the guys that stand out as far as what I've been watching thus far. But the list goes on and on. I'm sure you guys will talk about the other ones that are also highly regarded.
That's right. So, Kenny, I don't know if you have to check out some of the games so far, but some of these other guys, do you like any of these other guys that the comment didn't mention?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. He took all of the guys I was gonna mention.
What do you like about him?
AJ though, specifically, I want to talk about him. His
Good
game
boss.
is so smooth. I watched him play against Arizona, and that duo, we're going to talk about that duo at Arizona.
Mhm.
And Bird, them dudes, watch out for them. But back to AJ. AJ is such a silky smooth player. Anything you want, he can go get. Whichever you want it. Would you want it from 3? I can hit it to 3. You want me to get from mid range? I get to the cup. Whichever way you want it, I'm a 4-level scorer. 4 levels. Because he got the mid range, the floater game, the 3-point line, whatever you want. I dunk on you if I have to. And I like his demeanor. He don't get too high, don't get too low. He stay right in the moment. And that's some guys, they get real gun shy. They get real, the bright lights is on. He don't give me that. And I love that. And that's why he, at the next level, watch out. Watch out.
He definitely can create for his teammates. He gets in that lane and kicks for shots, and he makes things happen. But you mentioned those Arizona guys. I watched that same game on Monday night. It was a great basketball game. You have Koa Pete and Braden Burries. And I tell you, they got Koa in foul trouble early, but then Burries kind of finished the game, right? Because he ended up getting that big block at the end, and that kid's tough. They obviously have – we'll talk about the full team in a minute, but it's so great to get that infusion of young guys. And, of course, I'm an Illinois guy out of Chicago, so my guy Keaton Wagler, guy can shoot it up, scoring 46 at Purdue. He definitely is a game changer. Obviously, he's not as big as some of the guys you're talking about, but he can fill it up.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what other things are you guys seeing? Go ahead.
I just want, you know what really made me a believer? I think it was, if I'm wrong, AJ's second or third game. He's playing in front of a home crowd at the Boston Garden against UConn. If you want to talk about pressure being on a young freshman, and he came, and if you watch the beginning of the game, he was kind of shaky. He had all kind of people from Brockton, all over the local area. I'm talking about huge pressure. He had NBA, but he had all scouts. He had everybody there. If he was going to crumble, that would have been the game. If he came through like he did, I said he's all set. It's a wrap. And then look what he's doing now. He's having like 24 points a game. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's an incredible player. Well, let's go into some of the top teams just to kind of catch up our listeners and watchers here, viewers. And so we've got, I've highlighted the top 12, but feel free to jump in with other teams because obviously, it's such a deep group this year. There's so many teams that are just knocking it out of the park. I'm going to start at the top. Arizona, they're undefeated. They're one of only 2 undefeated teams in the country right now. I follow Ken Pom. Hopefully you guys do too, the Ken Pomeroy metrics when I look at my teams. They're not only the top rated team, like in terms of the rankings, but they're also the top team in Ken Pom because they sport the 4th best offense efficiency, 3rd on defense, which is hard to do both sides. And we already just talked about their 2 young guys, but in watching that BYU game the other night, it's Jaden Bradley. That dude can play great defense. He's a leader. He creates for his team, and he really defended well down the stretch. And to me, he seems like that's a type of team that I know I don't trust Arizona usually in the tournament, but if you listen to Charles Barkley, he's like, book it. They're all going to win it. But they got 5 guys in double figures. So do we really think they're the team to beat?
Well, I know for me, watching it, looking, I think UConn, I ain't going to lie, I'm a believer in coaching matters. I am a huge believer in that, and especially in the tournament. And I believe guard play. One thing I know about UConn, they're going to have good coaching, and they're going to have guard play. And anytime that they're good, I always say look out for UConn. That would be my early favorite, I would say, because from what I've seen and watched, because I like their team, man. They're going to play hard. They're going to play tough, and they're not going to make too many mistakes because their coach is not going to allow it. I promise you. I promise you. I love the coach.
Yeah, Hurley's I got to see him in Maui last year when they did lose to Dayton. It was kind of funny because we were chanting go home Hurley and stuff like that. But he is a heck of a coach. What do you think? What do you think, Con-Man? You think Arizona can top out, or you think there's some of these other teams like UConn, or we'll talk about other teams too?
I got to go with Kenny. I think UConn. If you remember last year how their season ended. I think that left a real sour tone to specifically the coach because he's out of his mind. But anyway, I think I left it. So he is so determined to make up for last year, and UConn has a little bit of experience. They got what's his name? I think Caravan. I think his name is Caravan.
He's on the team for like 17 years. Yeah.
I think he's older than me, and I'm 65. But I think he's been around the block a little bit. You know what I mean? I think that they're well coached. They're deep. They got, like Kenny said, they got a great backcourt. I think they're ready. I think UConn's going to pull it off, but don't be surprised if Duke sneaks in a little bit too. They got the boozer guys. I think Duke better watch out for Duke. But I'm gonna go with either UConn or Duke. If I had to choose, I'm gonna go UConn.
So the big knock on Arizona then is what, Tommy Lloyd as the coach, or they just can't get. They don't usually win the big game. I mean, they did win pretty far last year with Love, but they just kind of obviously fell short in the end.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends how they finish the year and how what seeding they're at and where they end up playing. I think that has a big part in their success. But right now, I think Arizona has always been a distinguished team. Always had the credibility back. But if you notice, I don't know. I just don't feel they got enough to get over the hump with UConn, Michigan, and Duke.
Yeah, I hear you. So, Kenny, what about with UConn? I hear the coach. Do you think, because the Big East is a little weaker this year, they're not like they've been in past years. They got maybe 3 good teams this year. St. John's is there. They're a good ball club. Nova's kind of there. Creighton took a step back. Do you think they're going to be battle-tested enough? Because, I mean, the thing about Arizona, we'll talk about the Big Ten in a minute, they're going through that Big 12, and that is there is no games off. You play every night. You got to bring your lunch pail and go to work in the lane. What do you think about UConn playing in the Big East and being a little weaker this year?
So I think with UConn playing in the Big East, I also one thing about the Big East, it may not be as flashy as it used to be, but one thing about it, they're going to play physical ball. That's one thing the Big East has always stood for. It's going to be physical. So they may not be battle-tested from a perspective of great teams, but the physicality is going to build it up toward a point when we bring our physicality, you other guys are not going to be used to that because you don't see it night in and night out. You just see really good basketball, which is nothing wrong with that. But this is a physicality that UConn brings to the game that shocks a lot of teams when they get in there and play against them. You're like, man, these guys don't play nobody, though, but they physical. They're physical in the Big East.
Yeah. I mean, they are the 5th rated defensive team in the country for a reason, right? They obviously are a really good team. What about, so let's go down a couple more of these teams. Obviously, Michigan started off guns a-blazing, playing so great. They have lost a game, but they dropped one to Wisconsin, a little surprise. But they've got a great defense and offense, 11th on offense, 2nd on D. They're 2nd in KenPom. They've got a very big team. This team is very tall, and obviously they like to run. They have big wins as well, but they just, I don't know. I watched them against Nebraska. They should have lost the game.
Yes, they should have.
And that was at home.
Yes.
So what do you think about Michigan? You think they're just going to run out of gas, or you think that this is just a team that got a lot of preseason and early season hype, and they're just kind of coming back to level? What do you think, Con Man?
Well, I think right now, they're 19-1. I think they've lived up to their expectations thus far. As you stated, they do have 3 players 6'9" or taller, which is going to definitely help them to be able to protect the rim. And they got a good stable backcourt. I'm really impressed with them, but like you said, too early to tell right now. Let's see what happens, as the season goes along.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Michigan, Kenny?
Yeah, I think with Michigan, I never like tall teams in the tournament because to me, I never do. I don't like tall teams in the tournament because all it takes is a guard to, they're gonna switch it every time. They're gonna do screen and rolls all day, put them dudes in a
good point.
I'm telling you, when it's like that, and you got
Shabazz Napier.
I seen UConn because I was a Pitt. I don't even want to say it. I used to be a Pitt fan back in the day.
Okay.
I watched Kimball Walker till
whoa. That run
switch, and we see what happened. So it's one of those where I'm scarred. That's why I'm like guard. If you got guards,
No, guards definitely win in March.
Yeah.
And just remember, we're the Primetime College Hoops podcast and on the Prime Coverage Sports Network. Let's talk about a couple other teams. We mentioned Duke, man. Obviously, we talked about the young guys, but they have other guys. Evans is on this team. You know, they've got a lot of guys besides the Boozer twins. You know, they're 19-1 as well. I got to see them dismantle Louisville in the second half the other night. They're a big team. They're not small. Very good defensive team and top 5 in offense too. So same kind of problem as UConn, not as deep in the ACC as it's been in the past. But you look at those preseason or early season wins: Kansas, Arkansas, Florida, Michigan State. I mean, this team has played everybody. They actually blew a lead against Texas Tech as their only loss. So you said you do like Duke too. Tell us a little bit more about them.
You know, first of all, when they're playing at home, they're almost unstoppable. You know, they got the crazies over there. I mean, the way they're so intense, and I just like the way that they play together. I mean, and if you look, most teams in the NCAA have at least 3 stars. Duke has them. And I think that's going to be a key factor when it comes down to tournament time, because they can rely on them as well. So to me, I like the backcourt. We all know the guys who are well known, but I think that, you know, I just like the defensive intensity, and I think Boozer is one of them dudes that's going to bring it when it comes time for March. I think he's going to definitely bring it. But one team I will bring up, if you don't mind, before I go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where did they come from? I want to know what's up with Nebraska. That's all I want to know.
Football school, right? Football school. Yeah, I agree with you. Nebraska's in this surprise team. They've got seniors on this team, juniors and seniors. They kind of did the old model, not the new model with young guys and transfers. They've got some guys that are in there. They got good forwards. They average like 17 and 14 respectively. And like I said, they should have beaten Michigan. I mean, kind of shocking. It could be the Indiana from football that surprised everybody the other way. Maybe it's the other way around, that the football team takes the basketball title. So what do you think, Kenny? Where these guys come from?
I don't know, because I ain't gonna lie. When I was watching them, because I was like, hey, let me find me a good game to watch tonight. And then I seen that Nebraska was 5. I said, how? I said, never. Michigan, okay, they 3. I said, let me put this on and see. And I'm watching Nebraska play, and I'm just in awe. I'm like, who are these guys? Where did they come from? Because
I don't know.
The good part about them is they're all mature basketball players.
Yes.
Mature players can get it done in March as well. You don't have to be a fabulous freshman to do it. You can be a 3-4 year guy who has done it, seen a lot of basketball, and has trained your mind and your body, and you've been somewhere where these freshman guys ain't been.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm not gonna, but let's just say there could be an issue. Let's just say that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Any team that goes 20-0 out of the gate, I don't care who they played. I mean, they did beat Illinois. They beat Michigan State. Only loss against Michigan, and like I said, they probably should have won it. I want to see them in the rest of the Big Ten schedule. They've got some tough games coming up, but clearly they got a team that can win. And I think you're right. I think come March with some experienced guys, that always is important. Experience and guards. Those are the 2 things you want to see in March. Those guys can get it done. What about, the team that's always on the list every stinking year, but, they haven't gotten over the top for the title, is Gonzaga, right? So they're a really good basketball team. Mark Few's always there. They're 21-1 again. This year, they play St. Mary's this weekend, but it's not quite the same St. Mary's of years past. And they played a tough non-conference schedule. The problem is a lot of those teams fell off, right? They beat Alabama. They did lose to Michigan by 40. But other than that, they won some other big games. Another senior-laden team. The Graham Ike is EK is a really good player. Brandon Huff. Man, do you have any shot for the Zags, or are they just going to do what they do every year, go to Sweet 16 and go home?
Gonzaga has a historical, elegance. They've always been one of the top level teams for so many years, going back to John Stockton, if you want to go back that far. But anyway, they've always been like just to get over to the hump. I think they're gonna be a problem, but I don't think they have enough to get over the hump. And then, like you said, if you are a team that is expected to go far in the tournament, how the hell are you gonna lose by 40 points? You're gonna lose by 40. You didn't say 4. You didn't say 14. You didn't say 24. You said 40.
You get run out of the gym. Yeah.
I'm telling you. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. Once they face those teams that can do that, maybe they can't keep up with the pace. What about Sparty? Come on, Kenny. Michigan State, Izzo, he's my guy. Great coach. You talked about he can coach, but they don't score the ball well. They're 43rd in scoring, but first in defense. They got Jeremiah Fears. He can ball. They got the point guard there. They got the guard. They got the coach. Play tough. What do you think about this team?
Michigan State. What can we not say? Great coach.
Yeah.
Guard play. The only problem with Michigan State is they always have a problem with scoring. I don't know what it is, but they always have a problem with scoring. But their defense is one. It's something about Michigan State. They could. Now, they would be a team to watch out if I'm a higher seed, like one of the 1s or 2s. I don't want to play them. I don't want to play them early. Like, I don't want to play them round of 32. You get Michigan State out the gate. Nah, they still hot at that point. So I don't necessarily want to go against Coach Izzo and all of that. I don't want to do that. Not that early. I'd rather catch him later down the road.
Kenny, the reason I think that they don't score that much is because of what you just said. They don't have a lot of scorers, so they can't fly up and down the court like other teams can. And I think Coach Izzo recognizes that. And he said, look, we can't run with them. We got to let them play the way we play, where we can be productive with the defensive pressure. And they don't run very, very well. And then we got a great ball handling guy. Like you said, when it comes tournament time, that's when he may take over because he's an outstanding guard. Yeah, he's not even rated like a lot of the other players are. But keep an eye on Jeremiah Fears. He's going to be one to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that can take his team on his back, makes a big shot, get the free throws. Because the only thing about the young guys in the tournament, you know how it goes, and even in league play, those guys haven't – maybe they've been in big games, AAU games or whatever, but when it comes to the big show, pressure's on, they got to hit a bucket. It's just a different experience. That's why the experience guys come through.
I agree, 100%. It takes a hell of a person to deal with that adversity, all that pressure. That's where the experience comes in. That's where the experience of the coach comes in and the experience of the player and the players around them.
So let's talk about another team that's pretty balanced, both offense, defense, a lot of the older guys again, and that's Iowa State out of the Big 12. I mean, they're right up there at KenPom. Number 6, they've got a great forward. They can definitely put the ball in the hole. They've got a couple guys that can fill it, 18, 17 plus per game. Joshua Jefferson is a guy who's up for Player of the Year consideration. He's not up there at the Cam Boozer level in terms of the odds, but he can definitely ball. So they've beaten some good teams. They beat Purdue. They beat St. John's. They lost to Kansas, and obviously they got to get through the rugged Big 12. But man, have you seen these guys play yet? I watched them the other night. I don't get to see them play at all.
No, we haven't had the opportunity, but I guarantee you, beginning this weekend, I'm gonna be on it like a hornet. I'm gonna watch all these teams because that's when I get very involved. And I'm looking forward to seeing these players. I'm sure you know a little bit more than me, but I'm looking forward. But I think the NCAA this year is going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be great. There's no outstanding team, and I think it's going to be a lot of parity. I think it's going to be a great season to watch.
Absolutely. What about you, Kenny? Have you seen any of these guys, Iowa State or my squad, Illinois?
Yeah, I have seen Iowa State the other day. They're really good, man. I watched them like, okay, it's like they don't do nothing that jumps off your screen, but they do everything good. They do everything good. And a lot of times, sometimes when you're going against certain teams, they may have a bad day. And if you just come in just being you and being good, you can mess around and upset some people. Now, the good thing about Iowa State is they're going to, like you said, they're going to be battle tested. So if they make it through this gauntlet and they make it on the other side, that's going to let me know everything I need to know about them. So I'm intrigued to see how they progress in the season.
Yeah, I tell you, my little secret for tournament time for teams that surprise to get to the Final Four, it's always like the second or third team in like a Big 12 or Big 10 because they've played all these tough games all year. And then when they get in the tournament, they're not rattled in tough situations and close games because they're used to it. Whereas the teams like the Gonzaga, maybe UConn this year, they're blowing guys out by 15, 20 points. They're never in those tight games. They don't know those situations. I think Iowa State's one of those teams.
You know, from watching all the games for so many damn years, you know what it comes down to, and a lot of people don't talk about it. Foul shooting. I think it is so damn key, especially at a crucial time at the end of the game. That's when you got to grow some or you don't. And I think that a lot of times we don't really talk about foul shooting because, then you can utilize coaching as far as you get a player who doesn't shoot good percentage-wise. You go and attack him. There's other things you can do when the other team doesn't have very good foul shooters. I think it's going to come down to what? It's going to come down to foul shooting when it comes into tournament time.
Well, we'll talk about my team, Illinois. I wouldn't say my team. I didn't go to Illinois. I went to Colorado State, but Illinois is my local team, even though it's downstate. We talked about their scoring. They're number one in the nation scoring the basketball efficiency-wise, but their defense isn't so great. So you know what you're going to get into. You're going to get into a high-scoring game. We talked about the freshmen, but they also have a senior in Boswell. And obviously they got Stojakovic's kid. They got Page's kid on there. He can fill the ball up. They're really fun to watch. I watched the other night. They were playing Washington. I guess it was last night. It was one of those things like they fell down early, 8 or 10-0. I didn't have any worry they were going to come back. Now, they didn't cover the number. I'm a gambling guy. But they definitely won the game. There's a team that can just turn it on, especially from deep, from three. And they like to get up and down a lot like some of these teams that we talked about. So hopefully you guys are on board with my Illinois team, at least the Sweet 16 this year.
I just had one of the former outstanding players from Illinois who played with Kendall Gill and all them guys. Anyway, I think you know what I'm talking about. But he's been
baby.
Excuse me?
I said the Flying Illini.
He was talking about the great Illini, and he comes on every now and then, and he's so happy that Illinois right now is coming to fruition again. They're getting, to be talked about because his team went right to the final two, if I'm correct. Anyway, so as far as I think they're going to be a team to be dealt with, and again, I haven't really seen them play a lot yet. Like I haven't seen a lot of teams yet, so I'm just going by my own premonition here. I like what they're doing so far. I think they're going to go pretty far. I think they're going to be all right. It's too early, but we're going to find out.
Too early, a little early. What do you think, Kenny? What do you think? You like this team?
That they score a lot.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that because some nights, man, defense just not possible. Some nights you may go against some of these, because they're in that Big Ten. So you're going to get some of these guys, and they're just having a night. And sometimes you just got to outscore people. The objective of the game is to have the most points by the end of the game. And so them being number one in offense is a sign of something. And they got guard play. So you know me, guard play coaching, I'm there. So we'll see.
Wonder what's been okay.
Down the stretch, though, for sure, and how they come out of this. And, hey,
I'm a lay stat that I heard the other day is that in 2020, Gonzaga was in Ken Palm, the number one team in offense in the metrics, right? In 2020. That same level of efficiency that they played in 2020 today would only be the 36th best team in offense in the country. Wow. So the amount of scoring that's happening now is almost 20-30% more than it was before. Teams are averaging the 80s and the 90s, which is kind of weird. I think part of it might be what we're talking about. These freshmen are coming in at a high level. I do think we may talk about it a little bit, but the eligibility, there's a lot of guys coming back with NIL money and extra eligibility. They're coming back in. And so basically there's a higher level of offense that's been used to, I think, that we're all used to. I'm glad seeing it. I'm more of a defensive guy myself, but I don't mind people scoring either. So I think Illinois is one of those teams that the envelope is being pushed on the offensive end, a little more on the defensive end these days.
Yeah,
I agree.
for sure.
Well, let's talk about a team that has picked up the offensive late the last couple of years, but they got to the final game last year. Houston, 18-2 this year. Kelvin Sampson's a great coach. They've got both young guys in Kingston Flemings, who's a baller, and then they obviously have Sharp as well. This is a team that's made to win in March. They've lost a couple games. They lost to Tennessee and Texas Tech, but they've beaten Arkansas and Texas Tech. They're a team that he knows how to coach in the big game. What do we think about this team, Comment?
I was so impressed with them last year, and I think a lot of people had them winning it all last year. I think, again, as you said, they're well coached, and I got to see, because I was watching them at the beginning of the year, and I got to see him play, and the forward there, the freshman Kingston Flemings, he's the real deal, Holyfield, no doubt about it. He can definitely ball. They're 18-2. I don't think, with that great record, I mean, they lost to Texas Tech, and they had Texas Tech got a guy Toppin.
He's a great player.
But I mean, Houston, I think they're going to be a team because hopefully they learned from their experience last year. And it's not how well you do now, it's how well you play going into the tournament. You know what I mean? If you can get everything going, again, get seated in the right place, I think they can do some work. I think the expectations are going to be very high for Houston as well.
For sure. Kenny, have you seen these guys play? Have you seen Houston play?
I have. I love their coach, for sure. So, one thing about it, man, I think that Houston is always going to be a team that's going to hang around. They're going to hang around, and they're going to hang around. And like I said, if you're one of these top teams, you got the coaching experience. You're going to have some guard play. You're going to have that toughness. Like, I like the fact that they take on the personality of their coach. Every team that Houston has had of recent has taken on the personality of the coach. And so, to me, hard-nosed defense, I think these guys are going to be a tough out for anybody during tournament time. And we'll see how they finish down the stretch because they could be a higher seed possibly. Maybe they, move up the rankings.
They'll get their shot at Arizona. They've already played Texas Tech twice, but they'll get their shot at Arizona, see how they do against them.
Yeah.
BYU, Kansas. I mean, they'll be able to rise up. They can still be a 1 seed even though they got the couple losses.
Yeah.
A couple more teams on the kind of the big list, and we'll go to the small list. We got Purdue at a tough, this is how tough it is in college basketball. You lose 2 straight games, you go from the fourth ranking to the 11th ranking real quick.
Yes.
The second best offense in the country, but their defense obviously 29th. Braden Smith is also a player of the year candidate, really good player. They've got 3 seniors and Fletcher Lawyer, and then they got Trey Kaufman-Wren. These guys are really good. They're senior laden. They obviously know how to win. They were there with Edey a couple of years ago. Obviously, they don't play as much D as some teams, but they've knocked off good ones. Texas Tech being one of them, Alabama, and they played, obviously, Indiana and Illinois beat them recently. So what do you think, Kenny? What do you think about Purdue this year?
So Purdue is one of those teams where ever since just the recent regime of them being there, they have always been just tough. This tough, hard-nosed team. But this year, it's kind of I would say like a flip. Their offense is amazing, and their defense is, let's just say, not as good this year. But their offense, they're high in offense. And so I'm like, what's going on here? I think that they're going through the gauntlet, of course. A lot of these teams just we got to see where they're going to go. And a lot of these, it's hard to really kind of project them because they all got to clash. Got to clash. And when it's time to clash, then we'll be able to separate the Purdue, Illinois, the Nebraska, the Michigan State. All of them will be separated. And then we'll be able to, you know what? They were real the whole time. And they were not. And so I think that's the great thing about this college basketball season. like y'all said, there's not one dominant team where I'm like, oh, I don't want to ever play them again. No.
Right. What do you think, man? Do you agree with this comment? The Big Ten, it's a tough conference, but Purdue's took a step back, kind of like what Kenny's talking about.
Yeah, because he's right. Because they've had some big wins, and then they lose to UCLA. I think it's up and down. I think when you play and try to set yourself up for the year, you got to come ready to play every damn day. And I think it's having to get your team motivated and realize that it's tough to play in these different conferences and away games, and it's very difficult to play. You got to come ready, because if you ain't ready, you can get beat by any of these damn teams. Purdue right now is 17-4. I like some of the wins. They beat Texas Tech, who I told you had one of the best players coming top. And so you got to give them, see, that's the highs. And then you got UCLA the lows, and then they lost to Indiana. So, I'm looking forward to see how they continue the season and see where they end up and how they either produce, get better, improve, or not, or stay the same as they are. But they're not the only team. A lot of teams, you see that they're either up or down, and it's hard to get teams that can be consistent. You get teams that can be consistent throughout the year. Those are the teams you got to watch for in the tournament.
Right. And thanks for the comment, talking baseball. We agree with you. The Big Ten is a really tough conference. You gotta bring it every night. Last team, we talked about Texas Tech a couple different times. You mentioned JT Toppin, who's Player of the Year candidate. And you got Christian Anderson. They're a really good basketball team. They've got some good wins. They're the only team to beat Duke this year, and obviously they beat Houston. They did come back against Duke, and I think Toppin is just one of those guys. He could be that guy in the tournament that kind of elevate his game, likely an NBA player. Man, what do you think? Like you mentioned this team a couple of times. So, what do you like most about Texas Tech?
I like their versatility. I like the fact that they're a high-scoring team. They got some players that can flat out score. And a lot of times, again, when you get into the tournament, I know I'm going way too early, but you need guys that can put the ball in the basket. And they definitely have two outstanding guys who can put the ball in the basket. That's going to be crucial when it comes time to crunch time. Because, when you get in the tournament, and the thing about the tournament, a lot of times you don't have enough time to study your opponent because of the way the schedule goes. So if you have guys that can put the ball in the cup, I think it's a definite positive for your team. But they're fun to watch. I haven't watched them play a lot, but from what I've seen and the highlights I watch on ESPN in the morning, I think they're fun to watch. I think they get very talented. They're very athletic, and they like to run, and they like to shoot. And I think they're going to be an effective team coming down the stretch. And like you said, they got some couple of real good wins. So got to watch out for them.
What do you think, Kenny? You like Tech? You think they're a team that could go deep because of what they've got we laid out?
I do, actually. I like Texas Tech. They are a very, I think, top-heavy team. So if you look at the guys, they're really top-heavy, but they both average 20. If you think about it, in the tournament, the game's going to slow down. It's going to be a half-court game. And so now, this is where Texas Tech can take advantage. Okay, dump it down the JT Toppin. Let's see him in the post. Let's see him work that midi. Down a little bit. And then the guard averaging 20 to me is that's all good. That's all good. I think Texas Tech is going to be a team to look out for. And then beating Duke. Now you got to look at them as, okay, maybe this is a team we need to look out for right here.
So we've talked about the top 12. We'll talk about two surprise teams in a minute, and we'll get to your comment talking baseball about Miami. But you notice in the top 12, and I actually have to look all the way down to the 15th team this year, we haven't mentioned SEC team. The SEC is a little down apparently. Florida is the reigning champion. We know what they bring to the table. They have a ton of size. Condon's back, but they lose the guard that they had last year. You've got Arkansas as the 15th, ranked team, and Calipari's got them playing well, but it's a little bit different than years past where you usually have a Kentucky, Florida, or somebody at the top of the heap. I don't know if you guys know what's going on there, but there has been different eligibility stuff. I mean, Alabama has this Charles Bediako guy who was in the G League, and now he's playing college basketball. He hasn't been granted eligibility by the NCAA, but besides that, what's going on in the SEC? Why do you think they're not as good, Con, man? What's going on?
NIL. I think NIL is a big part of the problem for a lot of teams. But you mentioned something that's very, very important. I brought it out as soon as I found out prior to the NCAA season, how you can go and play in the damn G League, leave the G League, and go back to college. Do you realize that they can get more money from the NIL than playing in the G League? What Pandora's box is that? So right then and there, I think that's going to be a big problem. Although there's a benefit to the NIL, but I'm a long-time referee, so I have a problem with the way that it is right now. AJ, the bouncers get $7 million a year. Fact, you can look it up. $7 million a year. Why you think it went to BU? It's wholly different from Brockton, Mass. Let me tell you something. But anyway, he's getting $7 million a year, and the NIL, I think, is a reason why teams like Florida and teams like that are having a little bit more difficulty, because now you remember when we go football. I'll relate to football. Alabama, Ohio State. They always got the best players. Now you got players going like, when's the last time BYU had a good player besides Danny Ainge? So you know what I mean. So the NIL, I think, is helping those teams who are not as well known or well. As long as you get the payroll, the bankroll, it makes a big difference. So that's why
Nebraska. Must be Nebraska.
A lot of old coaches don't want to deal with it. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic for another discussion.
No, I don't disagree with what you're saying. What do you think, Kenny? You think it's all NIL driven, or you think it's just people want a chance to win right away somewhere else?
Oh, man. Mike's the oracle, man. The con man is the oracle. I'm telling you, the NIL, told me, AJ, $7 million. And I'm just, that's just one player. One player. And I'm like, SEC, y'all can't compete with them. Y'all not competing with that. Y'all basketball programs don't bring in as much as y'all football programs. And so now you're having to fight against that right there. That budget ain't there no more for that. And so if you the SEC right now, you actually need your guys to stay. Remember how Kentucky used to be the one and done guys? They can't do that no more. You need to stay because you don't have the top talent like these other schools do, man.
Right. You know what's going to happen? A lot of players from the G League are going to be going to college. Watch. It's going to be a whole tsunami. It's going to be crazy.
Well, and that's what, in Nate Oates' defense, who's got Bediako as the kind of test case, a lot of these European guys that were playing professional ball in Europe are coming over. And I think that's maybe a Nebraska situation. Some other, we need to mention Danny's really good this year. The Vanderbilt was good at basketball. You know what I mean? So it's one of these things that's pushing the envelope across. It's spreading the joy a little bit from the powerhouses, but I think it will still matter when you have coaching and experience at a program, I think, come March. But in terms of right now, teams are killing it like that.
And also the fact that you get guys, because, you, me, and Kenny, if we don't like the coach today, we can leave tomorrow and play next year. Do you know what I mean? I think that's a big factor as well. So that's going to come in as well. I have to get more money over there. I don't like the coach yelling at me, so I can go over here. So that makes it difficult to coach, to get any kind of consistency, culture, or to build a culture, because guys are hitting one and gone. So, I think the NCAA is just changing, and I guess we got to adapt to the way that the NCAA is right now. Because right now, teams are playing individuals are playing for the name on the back instead of the name on the front. And as long as that exists right now, this is how 2026 and on, this is how it's going to be.
That's going to be. Let's talk about two surprise teams before we get to the weekend. One is St. Louis, the Billikens. They're 21st ranked. They're 20-1, obviously really good. They, like a lot of teams, they score the ball. They defend a little bit better than they score, I suppose, but they're 24th in Ken Palm. And then Miami of Ohio, the Redhawks, they're 21-0. I must be doing something right. They actually are the highest scoring team, not by efficiency, but they score the most points as any other team in the country. They did almost lose the other night, but they did hold it off. What do you think about these guys? First of all, the question in the chat was, can Miami, Ohio go undefeated? I don't think they can, but I'd love to see them go a la Wally Zerbiak way back in the 90s to go to the Sweet 16. That'd be a fun story.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually watched them. Once I heard, I said, Miami of Ohio is what? I said, let me put on a game and see. They're actually a really good team, man. I was shocked.
They can score. They can score.
They're not looking at it. They're not bad. They can compete. They can compete. And at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to go undefeated. Matter of fact, they may even lose their next game. But I like what I've seen. I like what I've seen from them.
Now, Wiggs, you might have to remind us. I think maybe about 3 weeks ago, I'm watching ESPN, and I'm seeing Miami of Ohio. They're down. And they hit tell me if I'm wrong. They hit some crazy last shot.
Yeah.
Everybody said, oh, they're definitely going to lose. But they come up with something. I can't remember exactly what shot it was, but I do remember watching. They hit a last-second shot that was unbelievable to keep their streak alive. So to answer your question, I don't think they're going to go undefeated, but damn. They're doing a damn thing right now. That's for sure.
They're going to be on Play of the Year. That's all they're meant. They'll be have a chance to make Play of the Year. So, all right. Well, let's get into the Primetime College Hoops podcast. BCSN. So let's check out for the games for the weekend. I got 3 highlighted games for the weekend. All of them important. One tonight, one on tomorrow, and then of course I got another one, a couple on Sunday. So let's talk about the game tonight. Michigan is going to Michigan State. We talked about these teams already. It looks like Michigan State is actually an underdog at home, which I'd love to see that for Izzo. And it's tonight about 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Do you think the Fighting Izzo Spartans can take out Michigan and knock them down? What do you think, Con?
Yes, absolutely. Michigan State, I'm telling you, Izzo is probably one of the best coaches as far as motivating his players. He's going to have that team ready to go. And you know what? Coaching makes such a difference because strategically and also technically, with all the plays that he runs and the defense, they're going to put a lot of pressure. Michigan is very good, but do me a favor. When you all watch the game, watch the guards. The point guard from Michigan State is playing out of his mind. He's going to make a difference in tonight's game, guaranteed. But yeah, I definitely think number 7 Michigan State has a great opportunity to beat number 3 Michigan.
All right, Kenny, who you got? Michigan or Michigan State tonight?
Like I said, if it stays under 60, I got Michigan State because I like a rugged, rough game. If they can muddy the game up, they can make it like to where it's just
that's
rough.
what they're going to do. That's exactly.
Make everything tough on Michigan. I think Michigan State can pull off, and them being at home, it will be an advantage. And like the comment said, Coach Izzo is the best in the business when it comes to motivating his players. Trust me, they know that they're underdogs at home. They know. I'm telling you, he's gonna push that battery in their back, and we may get a 55-50 type of game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan loves to run.
Uh-huh.
They love to run. And what do you have to do to run? You have to rebound the basketball.
Correct.
Michigan State, they're really good on the offensive glass, so I don't know if they can do that. So I'm with you. I'm with Michigan State in this game. Let's go to the Big 12 now. We've got BYU at Kansas. This is Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 Eastern. I've got that Kansas favorite at home. BYU coming up that loss at home. Got to hit the road this time. Playing Allen Fieldhouse. Kenny, who you got in this one?
Woo! I got BYU Kansas.
I'm gonna use that, Kenny. I'm gonna use that.
I'm telling you, this is a tough game because I feel like the two stars gonna show up. Now it's all about the pieces around them. At that point, I know the stars, the freshmen, they gonna give us what they got. It's gonna be a show, but I'm gonna take Kansas at home, man. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take Kansas at home. Allen Fieldhouse is to play in front of. The kid won't be still. Trust me, not be still. But I'm just worried about his team.
Okay. What do you think, Con, man? What do you got in this one?
You know, number 13 against number 14. BYU have already been battle tested. They had a tough game the other night. They played UConn. They're battle tested. And here's something that's going to be very interesting. Do you realize how young these two stars are? Last year, they played in the McDonald's All-Star game. And prior to that, they played on two of the best AAU teams in the country. And the last time they played each other, check this out, guys. Devancy played against Peterson. Peterson got 58 points, and Devancy got 47. Okay? And they went on to play in the McDonald's All-Star game where Peterson got co-MVP. And DePonte on the losing team, he got 13 points. I think that's what it was. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this. Them two guys are boys. They've been going at it for a minute. I think they're going to be pumped up to go. I think it's going to be a great game. I think BYU's had a real tough game. I think Kansas is going to probably be more prepared watching a lot of film. If they can control Devancer, if they can, because he got all the skills in the world. He got everything. But if they can, you know what? My heart goes with BYU because my boy, he's a homeboy. So I'm going to roll with him. My heart says BYU, but my mind says Kansas.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Kansas will probably win the game. If you're a betting man, I like the spread of 4.5 for BYU, taking those points. But it's going to be tough to win an Allen Fieldhouse. That place will be crazy tomorrow. It'll be a great game to watch.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about a couple games on Sunday. We will go to the SEC because SEC is, we're still going to talk about it, even though they're not top 12. Alabama, 23rd ranked, going to Florida, 19th ranked. I'm estimating the spread at 4 points. Home favorites for Florida. They're starting to play a little better, even though they struggled early in the season. This game's at noon Central, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Comment, who you got? Florida or Alabama on this one?
And you said Florida's playing a little bit better right now. Mm-hmm. They're playing home, so it's a home game. So,
yeah.
And I haven't really seen Alabama play to give a real good answer, but my mind just tells me that Alabama. I'm going to roll with Alabama. I think what they're getting 4-2. I'm going to go with Alabama.
Okay, look at that. I like it. A little upset. What do you think, Eddie? Who you got that one?
I'm gonna take the champs in this rivalry game. Alabama don't like Florida. Florida don't like Alabama. I'm gonna take the champs because I do like their big in this game against Alabama's bigs. I do. I favor Florida slight. Now the point, maybe you take them, you leave them, but I think Florida does edge the game.
Yeah, my biggest take in this game is Florida plays defense, Alabama doesn't. So I'll probably take the home team here. I'm not sure about the points, but Alabama's been playing good, but they don't like to lock down on defense like they did a couple of years ago. So I'll take Florida. Let's go with the Big Ten game. Illinois is playing at Nebraska. Another huge game. I think this game is dead even. It's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, probably upwards of 162. This is at 3 p.m. on Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Kenny, who you got in this one?
It's on the road.
It's a tough one. Tough.
It's tough. The first spread is like 1. Gun to my head. Illinois.
All right, Illinois on the road, huh? Taking my guy, Wagner. Okay. What do you think, Con, man? You think he's right? You think Nebraska's going to come through like they've been doing all season?
Wags, I'm sorry, man, but I got some bad news for you. I think Nebraska is such a close game, so nip and tuck. And a game like that, I think the home court definitely can play a part. So I'm going with Nebraska.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Nebraska's experience might win out in this one. I will hope Illinois wins the game. I want to just watch it, get my popcorn ready. But I think Nebraska's going to take them down, unfortunately. Well, that's the games I wanted to run through, fellas. Let's do a little sign off for the network. We got Prime Coverage Sports Network. Follow us on Coverage Sports Network Media on X. Follow me at Wegspool on X on Instagram. Con Man, sign off.
I am the Con Man. I have my show called Sports Corner with the Con Man. Usually my show is Friday nights at 6 o'clock, but not tonight. Tune in every other Friday night at 6 p.m. and check out Sports Corner with the Con Man on the Sports Wave Network.
Kenny?
All righty, man. This is Kenny Casanova with the Renegade Run Tuesdays and Thursdays. Check me out on there. Yeah, man. Hey, here. That's all I can say. Signing off.
All right. Well, we're the Primetime College Hoops Sport Podcast. Follows every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. Please comment. Thanks for everybody who commented. Talking baseball and Marcus. We can't wait for next week, guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Ready to rock and roll.
All right, fellas. Well, we'll see you until the sign-off window comes up. But it's good having you guys on, and hopefully your battery works better than my smoking.
Hey, got it. Hey, I had a good time with y'all, man. Look forward to next week and the weeks to come.
That's right. That's right. Did you guys share your social media handles? I don't remember if you did.
Oh yeah. Well, you can follow me on Facebook at Kenny, on YouTube at the Renegade Down Podcast.
Me, it's the Sports Wave Network. Sports Corner with the we're on YouTube and Roku TV as well.
Perfect. All right, thanks, guys. We'll check you next week. Thanks, everybody. Signing off. Yeah.
Good job. See you all next week.
Definitely. Yeah, see you next week. All right. I guess we're 20 more seconds. We can get through it. I got to have a timer up there. All right.
Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.